I don't know. Oh, my hair's too big. You can't see the car. I'm going to have to put this. It's going to be like up like this as if I am a bald guy trying to hide the bald spot. Oh, good morning. Good morning, folks. Good morning, folks. I was just writing down something. I was writing down Thursday, June 12. And I was putting a little box around it because I have space to write down all the good things that are going to happen today. One of which is 8 a.m. TikTok Live. And I already did morning walk. Yay. Starting the day off. Right. All right. Enough about me. Let's turn it over to you, my friends. Hello, hello. Good morning to you. I love it. I see a bunch of people. I could do the, what do you call it? Romper room. Maybe we'll do that. We got Ellen and Becky and Megan, Blonde Cheryl and Mel or Melly and Arlene and user 8675309, as I'll probably just call all the ones that show up like that, and Lori and Fiery A Angel. There we go. Good stuff. Mary Beth. Good morning, declutterers. Yes, good morning, declutterers. Good morning to you. Yeah, the sun is out for 2 days in a row. Very unusual, but I think I can handle it. How are you doing this morning? Hey, from New York. Oh, Shanana. So we have, here's a fun thing. So I'm tuning in from Pennsylvania. Nurse Ellen offered that she is in the state of New York. Oh, Shanana, I know she's in New Hampshire. Okay, Michelle says, I was literally just thinking, I hope Beth does a live today. I need to be productive. Okay, good morning, Laura Voorhees. Here's a fun thing, Michelle. Hope is great, but action is better. I hope she is. How can I find out if I'm doing a live today or not? You're on the mailing list, right? I hope you are. DestinationDecluttered.com. You scroll to the bottom of the page. You put your email address in. You promise that you're not a robot. And you hit submit. And then you get an email. And the email has a link to the secret page. Okay? So I'm just telling you. Okay, we got Long Island. We've got Northern Virginia. If you feel like putting your state in the comments, feel free, but you don't need to. I just think it's interesting to know where people are. I always think it would be wicked funny to realize that there could be two people living in houses next to each other who have no idea that they're both turning in. Yeah, okay, it's great. Everyone should sign up. Michelle, the only reason I bring this to you is in case you are wondering about something. Now, wondering is good. Wondering is curiosity, but finding the answer to that question can make you feel good. So, yay. Oh, see? Now, perfect example. Dee is in New Hampshire, and so is Oceanana. So who knows? Now, me is in PA, and I'm in PA, and we've got CT. Cat Mama, CT. Cat Mama is in the CT. I will be honest, the next few days, this is the last TikTok Live you'll see of me for quite a number of days. I will be in the NH and the VT and driving through NJ and NY and CT on my weekend because we're going for a bit of a family adventure. So let's make the most of our time together, okay? Let's really do that. The good thing is hopefully you're feeling like you want to get something done. Okay. Butler P. Oh, yeah. Becky. I was like, hey, whoa. I get you. If you know, you know, and I know. You know what? I'm right near Valley Forge. How's that? So there are things that you know how to do and you know how to do well. I bet if you got a piece of paper or, as I mentioned, the spiral bound notebooks of Staples, and they will not probably have me as a spokesperson because I always say, go get the cheapest notebook and wait for them to be on sale. If you made a list of all the things you do well, it would be a long list. Revel in that. You used to not be able to walk, now you walk. You used to not be able to chew your food, now you chew your food. You used to not be able to read, you know what I'm saying, and it goes on and on. What I want to offer to you is, and good morning, Boston Sports Girl. If decluttering is something you don't do particularly well, if the way you do it just isn't giving you the results you want, do not worry about that. Do not worry. Worry is wasted energy, but I am here to help you with that. So I offer to you that, and I said this last night because we have a decluttering party happening right after today's TikTok Live. Kind of like, it's almost like a declutter party sandwich, because on one side we have the TikTok Live, and then we've got the content, the declutter party, and then we have another side, which is the YouTube. So it's going to be a busy morning for me. So I offer you to think, where did you stop in your last decluttering experience? Where did you stop where you didn't feel good about it? Okay, there we go. Oh, Shanana's going to Maine for a lymphedema therapy, and I hope you get something tasty to eat too, because I think of Maine, I always think of food. So good luck with that, Shanana. So notice where you have stopped the last time you were decluttering, and just get curious about it. Did you not feel like you knew how to proceed? Did you run out of steam? Did you start to feel the feels and back away? Okay, Kitty Boots, I love this. Dining room table for sure. I'm gonna not burst into song because it's pretty early, but tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. Tell me more. Now, a couple of things while you're thinking of dining room table. So dining room table is a surface. It's a flat surface. And we talk typically when I just realized I forgot to introduce myself. Hello to all the new people, and even just to the people who know, maybe people scrolling by. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Here on TikTok, on the internet at destinationdecluttered.com, where you can sign up for my free mailing list and get all sorts of free stuff. And also on YouTube, Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Okay, so back to what I usually talk about, which is how to help you kind of get over the roadblocks of clutter in a way that, has helped me out, is surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental. 3 layers of clutter. And on that surface, you probably have some categories of things. So what is it on your what is a category of stuff, Kitty Boots, that you got stuck on or are stuck on right now, clutter-wise? Now, notice when I say categories, and trust me, I love an alliteration. Okay, so here's a funny thing. Kitty Boots, you just said what the opposite of a category is, which is too many different kinds of things. They all need to be put away in different parts of the house or the garage. You, my dear, just came up with a category. Okay? Yes. So notice that you can look at everything and it can look like a jumble sale, or you can look at it and think of category and curiosity. Curiosity is going to get you going. Not caring to find out and saying, I don't know, ain't going to get you anywhere except for staying where you are. So I offer to you, Kitty Boots, you already are starting to do this. Because you're saying too many different kinds of things, but your brain already knows that some things need to be put in different rooms of the house or the garage. So Kitty Boots, here's a fun game you can play. Just experiment. If you were to sign up for the decluttering party, this is what we would do, is we set the timer for 20 minutes. You pick a place to work on and you focus on working on it. So I bet you anything, you could listen to me with one ear on this TikTok Live, and you could go to your dining room table, and instead of looking at it and being overwhelmed by the amount of things, you could get curious and look for categories. Curious and categories. That's a good one. I'm going to write that down. What you're going to do then is you're going to make piles of things. You're not going to bring things from room to room immediately. That is inefficient. What I would offer to you is this. Is categories, curiosity and categories. Here's a pile of stuff that needs to go to the garage. Here's a pile of stuff that needs to go into this specific other room in the house. Here's the stuff that needs to go in the bedroom. Here's a pile of stuff that needs to go to the bathroom. See what I'm saying? So notice, and I'm going to write that down because I love myself a good alliteration. And isn't it cool? I've been doing this for years now, and I'm still coming up with new ways that make it be easier for me. So I want you to think of, instead of getting overwhelmed, I want you to calm your nervous system down and get into curiosity mode and get curiosity, and then look for and find categories. Categories. Name of stuff on my dining table that belongs in other rooms. You know, so even noticing what rooms they go in. Maybe you don't know, but you can start those piles. Good morning, Coffee and Chaos, and good morning, Erin. What do I got here? Every little bit helps. Yeah, it does. Categories. Okay, so we just kind of jumped in there helping out Kitty Boots because they offered that they are kind of, I'm going to use the word overwhelmed by too many different kinds of things. Too many is overwhelm. I also kind of love this because Oceanana said, and we all know the cadence of lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, lions and tigers and bears. Notice when you repeat these things to yourself, you can get yourself afraid, even if there's no lions or tigers or bears. No, Oceanana said, clothing and products and guest bedroom and the closet. Oh my. Now we make a joke of it, but the more that you focus on so much, oh my God, blah, 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 it gets your nervous system into a bit of an overwhelm. So we like to calm that down, okay? So, categories, and even honestly, so it's 8:11 now, 8:12, it just turned to 8:12. 8:30, set a timer or keep an eye out for 8:30, and just try it for 18 minutes. Just try it for 18 minutes. Don't leave the room. This is what I like to do, is I like to, because this is, notice Laura Given Voorhees experimented with ping-ponging in the kitchen yesterday, and behold, there's evidence of life scattered there. Ping-ponging and scattered, yeah. So maybe what you do today, Laura Given Voorhees, is you also play along with Kitty Boots. You look at your kitchen, and you look for categories, and you then bunch up. You then what do you call them? Group those categories. There's another word I'm trying to look for, but group those categories. And then instead of ping-ponging, you are intentional about it. You're intentional. Now notice a ping pong ball or a ball in a pinball machine is kind of out of control. You don't know what it's going to do. Notice how that worked out for you. Sometimes it can be fun, but other times there's another way of doing it that might get you the result you want more quickly. Okay, bundle. Yeah, that's a good one, Laura Murphy. Thank you. Yes, I think I was thinking of bundling. Yeah. So Oceanana is going to do that when she gets home. So notice where you can look at something in front of you, even wherever you're sitting now. Play I Spy with my little eye, a pile, and I'm looking at one right now, of stuff that if I just glanced at it, if I just stayed on the surface, it would look overwhelming and chaotic. But I'm going to take a breath, and I'm going to go a layer deeper. Grouping is also a good one, Kimmy L. Thank you. So I'm going to take a breath. I'm not just going to look at the surface. I'm going to go a layer deeper, and I'm going to look for categories, because then I'll know where to store those things. So I look at this pile right here, and I just see clothes. Too many clothes. They've been there for too long, and they're literally like on half of my desk because we're in the change of the seasons here where I live. Now, initially I look, and I'm like, oh, too much. I see two categories right away. I see kind of cold weather clothes that I've piled on top of warm weather clothes. I see a shirt that is not hung up, because I need to steam it because it's all wrinkly. So notice right there, just by glancing, 3 categories. I could make a pile of cold weather clothes, my pile of warm weather clothes, and my pile of warm weather clothes, I would take out that white shirt and put it in a pile of, clothes that need to be steamed or ironed before I put them away. When you chunk them down, that's one of the things we do here. Overwhelm, big pile? No, we chunk it down into smaller chunks, smaller piles. So one of the ways that you do this, though, is you've got to make sure every day. I jumped in right away, kind of to the pool because I'm comfortable in it. But for those of you who are new here, and even the people who tune in all the time, remember to do the following 2 things when you wake up in the morning and throughout the day. Do a scan from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes. Notice I use the word down. Maybe that'll be my, hydration word. Anybody? We're doing shots, but we're doing shots of water. Anytime I repeat a word that you think I repeat a lot, listen for it and take a sip of water. I'm going to use the word down, and I'm probably going to be very hydrated even by 8:30. Now notice what I did right there. I slowed down, I quieted down, I sipped down, I swallowed down. That's 3 more. I'll go. Now notice how I even just sipped that water, a little sip at a time. Every little bit helps. Slowing down, quieting down, and sipping down is the way that you do this without choking and making yourself feel worse. Now I say this to you because I want you to think of checking out how you feel physically. Taking a scan and just noticing, kind of like you're going through TSA and something lights up. Oh, it's my underwire bra. Or, oh, you know what? I am hungry. Or, oh, I have an ache somewhere. Or, oh, I have a cut. Or, I have to use the bathroom. Or, ooh, I should put my knee brace on. Or, you know what? I should probably put some shoes on because my plantar fasciitis. From top to bottom, do a scan. And I love it. Cat Mama just said, you say, I love it a lot. And I do. I love a lot of things I don't like. So, scanning down on your body and making sure you're feeling okay. If you're not feeling okay, do something to change whatever specifically is bugging you. Then do a scan down to your energetic body, which you live in, and notice how you feel energetically. Now, I call this kind of like, it could be your nervous system, but it's also kind of your emotions and your focus and all that, so your energy. And then if you're feeling scattered and, ping-pongy or overwhelmed or out, kind of like all strubly, as the Amish might say, I want you to also think of the word down, to quiet down, to calm down, to breathe down so you feel better. Now, notice this. Notice is another word I use. If you want to hydrate along with me, you can use that one. Is once you feel better physically and energetically, that's a good time to start doing these things. If you don't do those 2 steps, you may start, but you may be zipping all over the place, right? Now notice even what happened here. Laura Gibbon Voorhees looked in it initially on the surface, saw evidence of where life had kind of cluttered up the kitchen. But then she paused, she put her little traffic cop hand out, she got some distance, she took a breath, and then she says, now that I look around, now that I go just a layer deeper, the kitchen isn't as bad as it was yesterday, and it won't take long. Yeah. Notice what pausing, slowing down, and just going a layer deeper than that initial surface area thought of, oh, there's so much. Yeah, but I can do this. Notice how that can change. I love this too. Laura Gibbon Voorhees just said, I bought some kneaded glue yesterday and fixed 3 things. That helped declutter my to-do list. Yeah. How awesome is that? That is pretty awesome. Fixing things that are broken? I love that. How crafty are you? As opposed to throwing it away and buying a new one? Rock on, lady. So notice what we just did there. And I like to be really obvious about the framework behind this, because you can repeat it all over the place, okay? You can repeat it and it's simple. Check in with your physical body. Check in with your energetic body. How am I feeling? I did it this morning on my walk. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling okay. Feeling 7-up, as somebody would say. How am I feeling energetically? Oh, a little bit, kind of distracted because I have some things. This time tomorrow, I will be probably close to getting on the Jersey Turnpike from the PA Turnpike. So I have some things I need to do today, but I've written them down. The things that come to mind that I want to remember, I'm going to write those down too. Like, for example, and I did some of the things that make me feel better for that. Bring a bathing suit and bring a cooler. Bring a cooler. Bring a cooler for cheese and beer. Okay? There we go. Now, Laura fixed a hairbrush, a silverware drawer, and a picture frame. Now, the frame is off of the kitchen table. Yeah, sometimes you put things on a surface in a high traffic area, and you do that to give you a visual reminder to take an action. So again, we can play I Spy with my little eye. Is there something around you, where you are now, that is kind of temporarily, and I say temporarily, cluttering up a surface because it's to remind you to do something. I have one right now. I have a receipt here, and I want to ask the people at that place about if they can repair one of my hoodies. So I have that in front of me to remember to ask them. Now, will I do it in the next 48 hours? No. So I'm going to keep it there to visually remind me. Now, notice, fix this and that was on the list for a long time and feeling good about checking it off. Good stuff, Laura. So, what are you stuck with? What are you stuck with? I am here to help you. There's quite a number of people here, but I help the people who can identify what's bugging them and are brave enough, and I say this in a very lowercase b, brave, to share what you're struggling with clutter-wise in the comments. Now, the cool thing is, what I just explained with the people who did share, I bet it applies to every single one of you right here. If it didn't, if what I just said missed the mark for you, what is the mark for you? Where are you stuck? Tune into that. On the top layer answer is usually overwhelming. I don't know, and I can't even. But if you take a breath and you pause and you reflect and you look, there's just slightly under the surface, there's an answer. Okay, Spreading Sunshine says stored clutter, out of sight, out of mind, and yet it's on your mind and it's still stored. Okay, so notice. So when you say out of sight, out of mind, notice that phrase rolls off our tongue. We've learned about it in our society. But I want to offer to you that it can be out of sight, but still in your mind. So Spreading Sunshine, let's just go just one little step deeper into the ocean, the swimming pool of decluttering. When you say stored clutter, that could be everywhere, but is there a particular room that has stored clutter? Is there a particular category of stored clutter that you're stuck with? Notice that each layer gets a little bit more deeper. It gets a little bit more specific. I am going to pause for a moment here because I get really distracted by sounds. And at this time of year, I like to keep my windows open, but somebody is weed whacking outside and it's bugging me. So here, enjoy these things behind you while I close the windows. There we go, much better. Now notice what I just did. Notice what I just did. I noticed what was distracting me. I noticed what was bugging me audio-wise. And I did something about it. I closed down the windows to quiet down my environment. Notice what bugs you and what can you do to calm yourself down with it. Okay, so Spreading Sunshine says, oh, Becky, thank you. Becky saw my rug. Becky saw my rug. Thank you. I like it too. Spreading Sunshine says, I have some boxes in closets. Yes, under the bed and in the hutch. So notice you've already started to chunk this down. Not just stored clutter, a giant, mass of it. It's in different places. So within each one of those, is there a particular area that you would like to start? One of those ones that you already mentioned, because notice your brain is giving you the answers. I'm just here to help you draw them out. This is really funny. So while I'm asking, so Spreading Sunshine, out of closets, under the bed, or the hutch, which one would you like help with? Put it in the comments and I can help you. Now, Kitty Boots, notice what I said, and this is strategy. Strategy is when I said at, 8:11 or 8:12, I said do that, and make your piles and group things and then be intentional. So Kitty Boots notices this about themselves. If I have to leave the room to put something away, I almost never come back to the original room. Okay, so notice that you have had I'm already putting it in the past tense because we want to change it. You have had the habit of getting distracted from the original room when you leave it. It happens to many of us. It does. That's why I recommend when you have a grouping of items that go to a specific room, wait until you have the stuff from that one room to go to the other so that you get that stuff done. But then it is awareness. Practice. Say, I'm only in this other room temporarily, but my goal is not suddenly to be at this room. Now, here's the goal, and I've barely brought up destination. Destination. Remind yourself of your destination, Kitty Boots. Yeah, it's totally called ADHD. I wear it well. But what I want to say is you can practice with this. And you can say, wait a minute, destination, dining room table cleared off. Not destination, clear off make the bed and do all that. Keep your eyes on the prize. If you want to get to destination, dining room table cleared, you will take the things from the bedroom off of the dining room table. And once you have all those, you can bring them to the bedroom, but then go back to the dining room table. Because that's how you do it. You can practice doing something different. And I don't care how your brain is wired, you can practice that. Now, some of us, up thread, Laura Gibbon Voorhees talked about ping-ponging around the living room, the kitchen yesterday. Yeah, sometimes you do bop from place to place, and you can also practice and build your focus muscle. Practice saying, and even right now, Kitty Boots, try that and practice coming back to your destination decluttered, which your destination decluttered is the dining room table more specifically. So go back to work on that so you get to it. See if that works and let me know. Now, Spreading Sunshine wants help under the bed. Okay, so I will ask you another question. Notice, I'm asking you a question and you're coming up with all the good answers. What are 3 categories of things that are under the bed? I like 3 because it's a magic number. Yes, it is. It's a magic number. What are 3 categories of things under your bed? Okay. As you write that, Steph says, I started with a little whiteboard, made a checklist, and kept running to it, and that was massive. Yes. Hell yeah. Write it down. This is the best tool for the ADHD brain ever, in my opinion, is getting the thoughts out of your head and down on paper. Notice I use the word down. I use it all the time. It's a good word. Because you think of that one word and you see how can it apply. Okay, so notice what worked for you. A little whiteboard, made a checklist, and then you can erase it. Now, I don't like a whiteboard. I'm left-handed. It gets smudgy. It reminds me of work in an office, but it's visible all the time. So I instead do the same thing, but I use paper and I use a pen. Okay, so Spreading Sunshine, good stuff. Nostalgia, extra bathroom stuff, and luggage. Okay, so I love this because you've hit 2 out of the 3 categories, right? Surface clutter would be as if it was in your site, but you're already in stored clutter. But even within stored clutter, you hit the deepest clutter of all, which is sentimental clutter. Now, you called it nostalgia. I highly recommend, as you are learning a new process to deal with your clutter and practicing managing it and making decisions, do not start with the nostalgia. No. But how about this? Extra bathrooms or even luggage. Luggage to me seems pretty easy. Is that where you want to keep your luggage? Is that where you want your empty luggage to live? Is under your bed? Put it in the comments because then that's already one of the 3 that we can deal with pretty quickly. Okay, now Felice says decluttering is an endless process. Goal is doing the chunks and not a completely uncluttered home. Okay, I love the chunks, but I will say this, the way you frame it though, I will just offer to you. When I think of something as an endless process, that does not inspire me to do it, like it never ends. But when I see the end of each chunk, it makes me feel good. Like for example, I just put some laundry in before I started this TikTok live. I am psyched about putting some of my dirty clothes from the hamper into the washing machine. I will also feel good when I do the chunk of, or I get my husband to do it, putting the clothes from the washing machine into the dryer. I revel in that. Yay. And then the stuff from the dryer gets folded. So a completely uncluttered home is possible. It is. Just notice the words you use about it. Okay? I love it. Boston Sparks girl. I'm so proud. Concurrently chunking down in a notebook and getting it out of my head. I can't get it out of my head, but I can get it out of my head. I'm going to have my husband sing it that way. That song by ELO, right? I can get it out of my head. And when you get your thoughts out of your head, that's decluttering your head. It's putting all your thoughts in a work notebook. And I offer this too. Sometimes I will use a different page for any category. Here's stuff about my work. Here's stuff about family. Here's stuff about my health. Oh, this is why we get the inexpensive notebooks. Use these pages. Don't just cram them all in there, So notice this. Alrighty, I love this. Okay, that's okay, but spreading sunshine, you say, I don't have another place to put it. But are you okay? That sounds like a fine place to put an empty suitcases under the bed. You're not digging that? Okay, you're not digging that? I think it's a fine place for an empty suitcase. What I will offer, though, is how about this? Ellen, enjoy your workout? Yeah. There we go. In the city, it was the only place for empty luggage, says Steph. Bags of nostalgia lived in the luggage. 2 birds with 1 stone. Yeah, you could do that. You got to get clever about these things, But I offer to you, what I would do, this is the process that I would go through, is the extra bathroom stuff. That's where I would start. I would be okay with my luggage being under there, and I would temporarily, if there's room under there for nostalgia, you could put it in your empty suitcase, or if you have enough room to have it separated. I like always having an empty suitcase. Right here, empty suitcase, because I want to be able to pack for a trip at a moment's notice. Okay. Oops. And Oliveira, nope, I do not. All right, here we go, hold on. Boop, confirm. Okay, so Abbott Elementary is writing each task on a Post-it note is gamifying my decluttering. I get to pick which task first. Yay, make it fun. Make it a game, and you get to choose. You're in control of what you do. Now, Intuitive Bestie, we're just about to talk about the overabundance of, what was it? Bathroom stuff. And what I want to offer is, I have too many hair products. Do you use them all? If you do, use them. And when you use them up, rebuy the ones you like. Okay, so spreading sunshine, it's the same. Notice what you're telling yourself, though. Notice what you're doing. If you're a pro with the surface, you can be a pro with the stored. It's the same process, just a layer deeper. I think because there is so much under there. Notice what you're doing. You are overwhelming yourself before you even start. You're saying there's so much. No, much like the surface area, what we do is we chunk it down. We have 3 chunks. Luggage, bathroom, nostalgia. We're not dealing with this nostalgia today. That's a more advanced course, okay? We have made a solution. Hopefully you're feeling good about your suitcase being under the bed. If not, write down why you're not feeling good about that. And then let's pull out just 1/3 of the stuff under there, which is your excess bathroom products. This is where your shopping habits and using habits are something you would need to get a layer deeper in and notice. Why do I have so many of this? And again, not in judgment, in curiosity. Okay? Not in judgment, in curiosity. When is the last time I used this? Do I need to buy this as frequently? Why do I have 3 things of lotion on the floor in my bathroom closet? Right here. Me. You know why? Because it was on crazy sale, and I know I use it often, and I even checked the expiration date before I bought them, and I have a pretty good idea that I'm going to use it up before it goes bad. Okay? Now, Danielle says, I have a bunch of hair products I don't use. I think I might, but I don't. Okay, everybody here today who says you have a product you're not using, use it today. Or if you've already like showered and dolled yourself up today, of which I have not done, that's okay. If you already did that today, write down to use that stuff tomorrow. Okay? Write down that you're going to use that stuff tomorrow. You think you might, but notice, Danielle, you think you might use it, but you're not using it with your hand. It's because there's something in here that's stopping you from doing it. So put it to the test. If you don't know why you're not using it, the quickest way to find out is to get yourself in the motion of using it. You know? There we go. Spreading Sunshine says, I'm going to make a start of Under the Bed after work. One chunk at a time. My words are helpful. Okay, my words are your words. They are now your words. Tell yourself this. Write down my words and speak them to yourself. Again, writing these things down. You know, and see, Cynthia's got some. Many people have. We buy products. This is what I see. I see frameworks and I see patterns. Did somebody mention the ADHD brain? This is what I see happens to all of us. We're living our lives and we see something or we hear about something that intrigues us. We get curious. That might make my life better. That might make my hair better. And so you think, ooh, that could improve my life. So you go out and you get that product. You purchase it and you bring it into your home. Then, hopefully, you try it out. And what happens when you try it out is you find out one of two things. One is, I like it and I will continue to use it, so it's not clutter. But sometimes you will discover that what you brought into your life does not work out the way you hoped it would. That, my dear, is clutter. And that is actually when you don't do something about it, when you let it hang around and it's not working for you, but you continue to let it hang around, that is clutter. You know? So I just offer to you, if there's something in your, let's even just get more specific, like, because we're talking about this category anyway. You could look at all the categories in your home. What is there in your, does anybody here have hair products? Let's even be more specific. Anybody have any too much shampoo? Too much shampoo. Let's get really specific. If you do, why are you not using it? Get curious, not judgy. Okay? If you do use it, why do I have so many bottles of it? Now notice I did the same thing with stuff. Okay? So if you do, maybe what you do is you put all of those different shampoos in the shower with you and you have fun. You much like Abbott Elementary and the Post-it notes. Doesn't that sound like a little kid book? Abbott Elementary and the Post-it notes. Or band. Now I'm cracking up. I'm like, they'd be like a ska band, you know? Oh my God, I almost lost my train of thought. Shampoo in the shower. How about putting one of each? If you have different brands, if you have different things, put them all in there and try them out. Which one makes you feel the best? Use them all. If you don't like the smell, if you don't like how it makes your hair, then there is going to be probably, I'm going to guess, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you may have a relationship with money that's causing a bit of tension about getting rid of something that you paid money for. You know? So I just offer that. Okay? Notice that we can't stay on the surface here. If you stay on the surface, you will never get to the root of why you are cluttered. Now, I'm not a trained mental health person, nor do I ever care to be, because I don't feel like going down to the real root, and it's because my mother never loved me or something like that. I'm not dismissing anybody. What I'm saying is the way I coach, I say find out the reasons that are kind of, bubbling up and test it out. You can go really deep, but I would rather get you into action to change what you're doing as opposed to sitting there ruminating and finding out, oh, I can't move forward. I have to research more. Research a little, experiment. Was that the reason? Can I use it now? Play with it. Have fun. Okay? Alrighty. So Cynthia says they are in the shower. They are all half full. I don't want to be wasteful. Figured I use them. Okay. So it may take a while. So how about this? I am hoping you're not buying any more shampoo right? You're not going to bring more shampoo into the house until they're done. And what I want you to do then is start to pay attention to the one you like better than the other. You say all of them are half full. I bet there's one that's less than half full. I bet there's one that's more than half full. I bet you're using the one that you like the best the most often. I bet there's one that you don't really like that has more than half full. Pay attention. Don't look at all of them, but learn something from all of those ones so that when they all empty, when you use them, you know more about yourself when you go to shop for shampoo again. You will also learn that you don't like the feeling of having so many bottles of shampoo in the shower with you. So notice this, okay? This is great. Abbott Elementary is saying, that's so funny. I'm decluttering a vanity and put a conditioner bottle, in a bag for water aerobics and is going to use it today. Okay? Now, I love this. Kara's Garden is chiming in yesterday. Check out her rearview mirror. Went to therapy. MRI in Boston, physical therapy, all the therapies. Decluttered under the sink today. I walked, icing and roadie cleanup. I love that. Yay. So, Spreading Sunshine is offering, I used up half shampoos as bath bubbles for the granddaughters, right? So just notice, sometimes our shopping habits cause our clutter. The quantity of something we buy. Now, my mother, I love my mother, but my mother is famous for this. And I know for a stone cold fact that I react differently to that. So I am always use it up, and only when it gets to this, then we'll buy another with many things, because I am still decluttering my mother's house, and she's got like all these aging bottles of product. This, soap that they don't make anymore, but she barely uses it, and she continues to go buy new things. Now, I don't say this as anything other than an example of what happens in real life. Oh, Kara, yeah. God only knows. Notice how words can affect you. I know I'm kind of stepping outside of what I was just talking about. You can see some words, 3 words in a row, and you can feel something change in your body, in your throat, behind your eyes. Words are powerful. Words set to music, my God, they go directly to your heart. So never be surprised that words can affect you. Okay? Yeah, God only knows. I see, and I even texted it to a friend yesterday. If nobody knows what I'm talking about, Kara's a big Beach Boys fan. I'm a big 60s music fan and California fan. And my husband is a huge Brian Wilson fan. He got so many texts yesterday when we learned that Brian Wilson passed. And God Only Knows is one of the songs that my husband put on a mixtape when we were dating. And so I cannot ever hear that song without getting choked up. Can you hear it? I can feel it. It'll be okay. But when you think that words do not affect you, I beg to differ. All right? Ooh, somebody offered to get back into the shallow end of decluttering. Maura says, use up conditioner as the shaving cream. Yeah, I do that sometimes because I don't condition my hair as much as I use the shampoo, right? There we go. Mix up multiple jars together. Create some concoctions, Yep. All the colors. Yeah. Yep. Rach says, I say a thing that said all the clutter, all the things. It's money. It once, yeah. Your stuff, everything around you once was money. Unfortunately, it's kind of like a magic wand. You change your money into an item, but you can never change that item back into the money. Oh, wow. Wanderlust Girl. That's awesome. Yeah. So John Stamos, thank you. Yeah. Oh, what a fun night. So when he was touring with him, very cool. That's awesome. That's really neat. And notice what sticks with you. Stories stick with you. Write down those stories in case your brain starts to decompose. There we go. Team Emmerich is noticing. And notice what you say. When you say I'm struggling with this, help comes from everywhere. Team Emmerich says local YWCA or domestic abuse shelters or teen shelters take new and used products and makeup. They may. Find the local shelters near you and ask them. I love that. Melly is noticing that during the pandemic, they over-purchased stuff and still using what's left of the stockpile of cleaning supplies from the pandemic. And I offer to you is the COVID-19 pandemic is equivalent in my mind to the Great Depression of the 30s. And if you were raised by people who grew up in the Great Depression of the 30s and struggled and now stockpile, now we have that personal feeling of what it feels like to be afraid that something won't be available and you won't have anything. But notice what happens when you stockpile things. If you don't use it as frequently as you think you will, it will stay as a pile in your house. And also, frankly, things will decompose. Like that Yardley lavender soap, I think, the bars of soap that my mother has in the upstairs linen closet. She bought some because she loved the smell of it. Well, now it's years old and things do begin to degrade. I bet it doesn't smell as good as it used to. Yes. And Kara, 100%. Those first few chords, can't even. Gets me in the feels. But on a shallower end, I'm going to swim to the shallow end because I could burst into tears right now about that song. But it wouldn't be helpful. But I'm feeling it and I'm honoring that feeling. I'm keeping it right here. And for some reason, it's right here in my heart. Isn't that interesting? Where specifically am I feeling that? Right here. Kara got her summer curtains up. Earlier this week, or maybe it was last week, she said enough of this and she was taking down her velvet curtains. She was she got her summer curtains up. Yeah. So, Rach, notice it's harder to get rid of stuff now. We don't know if it may happen again. Notice the fear. Fear is going to be behind so much of the stuff that keeps you stuck. I just offer that as a blanket statement. The fear of not having it. The fear of lack. Notice that sometimes it's good to have a little bit of stuff, but decluttering means you have too much. You are saying, I have too much of this. You're not saying, I have just the right amount and I feel good about the amount of, tuna fish cans that I have. Okay? But notice that fear of lack, also growing up in lack and not even knowing what having enough feels like can make you blow past that, that just right feeling and have too much. And too much can feel crappy, just like not enough can feel crappy. Yeah, Melly has stories. We had 4 people and a caregiver and didn't want to risk not having any, and the stores were bare. Yeah, that fear of, oh my God, I really won't get toilet paper. Oh, Barb, everybody give Barb some love. She says she has missed you, and you, I'm using the royal you, because I'm just Beth, Destination Decluttering Life Coach, but you guys are all making this how awesome it is. I will be here for another 12 minutes, but Dad was in hospital and rehab for about 3 weeks till he died about 2 weeks ago. He would have been 96 today. Oh, Barb, my heart goes out to you. Notice the feels, people. Notice the things that are really important to you. It's how you feel. Your connection with people. Look at what we're doing now. We're connecting with people we don't even know. Barb, my heart goes out to you. Okay? Yeah. And it's going to be tough. The first birthday. Remember all the good times. Sit down and take a notebook and write down the good stuff you remember about your dad. I will say my dad died about 15 years ago, and I know there are things that I would have written down then that I didn't, that I forget now. Yeah, Mora is raising a good point. Now I'm bopping all around here because I'm seeing things come in real time here. Mora says, I've been fighting the urge to bulk buy with tariff concerns and potential raising prices. Yeah, notice that right now. Notice when you are feeling anxious, your nervous system is in fear, you look to surround yourself with things. Notice when people put you in fear, it really helps them distract you from what they don't want you to look at. Now, I'm going to honor, I just say, when you quiet down your nervous system and calm down, don't overbuy. Maybe buy one extra pack of toilet paper. Also, trust that a lot of what happens is buffoonery and it doesn't come to fruition. Chickening out, as they say. So notice this. Notice you have the urge to bulk buy for fear you're not going to be able to afford it when it's here. I just offered to you, too, to get really deep. What you really need, with the exception of food and toilet paper, a lot of the stuff that's going to have tariffs on it might not be stuff you actually need. Now, I'm not going to tell you you don't need something, but notice the things that make us feel good. They're stories, they're connections, they are, doing good stuff. Giving Barb a hug, sending healing. And so I offer to you, maybe today would be the best time to, write down the things you do have. Take inventory. This is a lot of what decluttering is too, is simply taking inventory and reminding yourself of your abundance. So here's the thing. I totally missed it. Okay, so Maura, bulk buy what? Get specific and write it down. What are you specifically afraid you won't be able to afford with tariff concerns and potentially raising prices? Write down the category of what that is. And food is too. Food is a category, but get more specific. And then shop in your house. Take an inventory of your house. How many things do you have already? And use that stuff. And maybe augment it a little bit, but notice that getting to a place where you feel okay is different than having way too much. Rach is saying, I have too much clothes after losing weight and still have clothes I'll get into too. Yeah, we're all on that spectrum. Everything's a rainbow. We're all, somewhere on that road, So it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Melly's saying, ooh, I need to buy more coffee. Yeah, but notice if you overbuy more coffee, coffee has oils in it. Coffee hanging out too long might degrade. Now, we live very lean in our house. I am always decluttering the cabinets and making sure that we're using fresh food. And it's just because of where we live. We live surrounded by multiple grocery stores and farms. So I am not feeling the need to do that. But I also know that we eat simply. We eat small. We eat cheap anyway. So, yeah. And then Dee says, I almost did that with tariffs, but then realized that the price doesn't actually go up that much. Yeah, coffee could save lives. You know what? I buy tea. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. And also Rach says, just watch the dates. So everybody today, if you are afraid, and notice the fear. The fear is going to keep you buying too much and hanging on to things. So hang out with that fear. What specifically am I afraid that I will not be able to afford if there are tariffs? And let me check my inventory, my supply, what I have now. Let me use that up. Do I already have an overabundance? As I do that inventory, do I notice the overabundance or just the abundance of what I have? And maybe that will make me feel better. When you're in fear mode, this is what I offer to you, and this is scalable. When you're in fear mode, you do not make the best decisions. You do not make good decisions. You make reactive decisions. That's why people in the world try to get you in an emotional response thing so that you're distracted and you're not focusing on the stuff that's really important, like the fact that billionaires are getting tax cuts and poor people, including all of us, are going to pay more so the rich get richer. Oh no, here, look, let's drop some, let's get, throw some tear gas at people in Los Angeles. Oh, it's the people from other countries that's the problem. No, it isn't. But when you're distracted by that and they aggravate, that you're not focusing on it. So I say to you on every level of your life, notice when your emotions kick in and notice that. and then have a conversation with it. Do I really need to be afraid of the guy mowing the lawn? Or do I need to be afraid that some little kid is starving down the street from me or hungry because another billionaire wants a fucking rocket to the moon? And notice, I always go back to this. The people who have the most money are not happy, because if they were happy, they'd be helping the world. They would be feeding and clothing everybody, and with plenty of money to buy yet another freaking yacht. So I offer this under the umbrella of decluttering, which is we think that having too much is going to be better. Where's my next trillion coming from? And I tell you that when you notice that, and it exists. So please use that info for your own awareness. Get yourself out of fear mode and into badass mode, as Jen Sincero would say. Don't be distracted by the shell game. Get curious about how having too much has worked out for you, how fear has worked out for you. How do you act when you're in fear? Do you feel good about yourself? You're probably just trying to save yourself from pain or suffering or harm. But is that even going to happen? Now, there are things to be afraid of. Being afraid of what's going on right now, but noticing the fear, but not letting it paralyze you, using it as an energy to get you activated. Okay? So I just say this, and I think it's really important for all of us to talk about it. I am not living in a bubble. Your clutter is affected by tariffs. The amount of money that you have to buy other things in the future is going to be affected by we all have to pay more taxes because the billionaires aren't paying anything. This does affect us, and it affects the well-being of people in our communities, and people who are just trying to get by, just trying to do a job and get paid to feed their families and hang out with their friends and live a life they love. So I offer to you the physical scan from top down to the bottom, your energetic scan. Am I in fear mode? What am I afraid of? And then use the skills I teach you to calm that down so that your brain shifts from that scared that scared backseat driver into a more clear-eyed, fired up, clear-eyed, let's make a plan and let's get it done. Okay? Clutter-wise and otherwise. This is how I have approached stuff for the last number of years. It has done wonders for my life. It has made me a better human being on the planet because I am helping other people more. It's not making me say, oh, screw that. This is my time. I can't possibly. No, I have more than enough. And I want to share my abundance of knowledge and stories and songs and encouragement with you. Okay? But what I'm going to do right now with all that stuff to think about is I'm going to shift gears. I'm going to sign off because those of you who have signed up for the declutter party that happens in about 2 minutes, I want to be ready for you. Okay? If you like what's going on here, follow me here on TikTok. Where the hell am I? And also sign up for the free mailing list. That's how you get invited to the declutter parties, and that's when you know when I'm going to do another live. Now, I will not be live on TikTok until next week. If you want to know what day and time, sign up for the mailing list and look at the TV guide that I offer. I will be doing a YouTube live 11 o'clock this morning after the decluttering party. And if you want to sign up for the decluttering party, you can still do it. Okay? Alrighty? So, I love it, Boston Sports Girl. I'll see you at 11 on YouTube yourself. All right? I'm going to sign off, everybody. Let's get out of fear and into good stuff. All right? Bye.